Have you ever paused to consider what artificial intelligence, truly understands about your brand or your business?
hmm
Or even, let's get personal for a moment, about you. It's much more nuanced and frankly more vital than just what pops up on a search result page.
It absolutely is. We're talking about a kind of digital consciousness almost that's constantly forming around every entity online. And here's the thing. If you're not actively shaping it, well, that understanding can become incredibly hazy,
Easy.
leading to a reality that might not quite align with your truth.
Okay, that's why today we're taking a deep dive into a concept that honestly might sound a bit like science fiction, but it's rapidly becoming maybe the most critical digital landscape we know. The synthetic content data layer.
Right. And our insights for this deep dive, they come from some really illuminating excerpts from Hobo Strategic SEO 2025.pdf by Shaun Anderson. It offers a fascinating look into how these AI systems are building their intricate understanding of the world around us.
So, our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to unpack this often overlooked digital territory. We want to understand precisely how AI forms its comprehensive understanding of entities,
hmm
and most importantly, show you how you can proactively shape that narrative. Because, let's face it, in an increasingly AI-driven world, making sure truth prevails isn't just, a good idea, it's fundamental.
Absolutely. And get ready for some genuinely surprising facts, I think, and probably more than a few aha moments. This deep dive, I suspect, will fundamentally transform how you think about your online presence.
Okay, let's start with this phrase itself, synthetic content data layer.
It sounds a bit abstract. What exactly are we talking about here?
Okay, yeah. Think of it as an invisible, constantly shifting understanding that AI systems have about an entity, whether that's a person, a company, a product, whatever. Shaun Anderson describes it quite vividly, actually, as an AI-constructed fog of understanding.
Well, yeah. It's not like a physical database you can point to, but it's more the cumulative knowledge and associations that AI systems build and critically infer about you from, well, every piece of available data across the web.
An AI-constructed fog? I really like that metaphor. And if it's a fog, I imagine it can get pretty murky pretty quickly, right, if you're not actively managing it.
Oh, definitely.
Is that where this opportunity gap idea comes in?
Exactly. Left unmanaged, this layer directly shapes how AI presents your brand, your entity, to its users. And often it's based on outdated info, scattered stuff, or even just plain inaccurate information.
Right.
It creates that opportunity gap because if you leave that informational void empty, it will get filled.
Uh-huh.
It could be by competitors, maybe disgruntled customers, or even by the AI's own hallucinations, its inferential leaps that aren't actually grounded in fact.
Okay, so if there's this fog and this gap, what's the proactive strategy? Is it just damage control, or can you positively influence the narrative from the get-go?
Oh, it's absolutely about proactive influence. Damage control is reactive.
Yeah.
The goal here is to prepare the ultimate definitive briefing dossier specifically for your entity, tailored for these powerful AI assistants. This means diligently feeding the AI the truth about your entity down to the most minute detail and doing it at scale.
Okay, feeding the AI the truth. I found this next point in the source material really fascinating. The argument for your own website being the canonical source of ground truth. Why is a website specifically so crucial today, especially with AI in the mix?
Well, in today's, let's be honest, chaotic information landscape,
Mm-hmm.
where social media is often fleeting and AI can mimic expertise without real experience, establishing a stable, reliable digital identity is just more critical than ever. Your website, far from being some outdated concept, is actually uniquely suited to be that single authoritative digital hub. The key is that an entity exclusively owns and controls it.
That makes sense. But it raises a question. Why not social media then? Or other user-generated content platforms? They have huge reach. So many businesses focus there now.
Sure, they definitely have reach, but they suffer from a pretty significant credibility deficit, not just in the eyes of AI, but humans too, often.
Okay.
These platforms, they often lack professional gatekeeping. Their algorithms frequently amplify sensationalism over, verifiable fact.
Right. Engagement over accuracy sometimes.
Exactly. And trust is often relational, based on who you follow, rather than based on concrete factual evidence. The source actually calls them anti-canonical. They're built on principles like multiplicity, things being temporary, which kind of run counter to the stability and governance you need for a real source of truth.
Anti-canonical. Interesting.
Yeah. Your website, though, offers full ownership, full control. You can have detailed author bios, really in-depth content, permanent URLs, all things that are absolutely crucial for establishing deep credibility.
This leads us perfectly then to Google's EEAP framework. experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. The source calls it the public-facing litmus test for trust. How does this framework connect to shaping that AI understanding, that canonical truth we're talking about?
Well, EEAT is Google's fundamental way of assessing quality and trustworthiness. And trust, explicitly, is the most critical part, supported by the other three pillars.
Okay.
For AI systems, especially those using RAG retrieval augmented generation.
RAG, right, where it pulls in external info.
Exactly. Where AI pulls from vast external knowledge bases to form its answers, these EET signals are crucial. They basically guide the AI to retrieve and prioritize the most credible and trustworthy information it can find.
And within EAT, that first E for experience really stands out. Can you elaborate on why genuine human experience is just irreplaceable here? What makes it something AI simply cannot replicate?
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah.
AI cannot possess genuine first-hand experience. It just can't. Think of, say, a developer with 25 years of coding experience. They understand not just how to write code, but why it should be written a certain way, the pitfalls, the nuances learned from years of trial and error.
Right, the lived experience.
Precisely.
Yeah.
This is your proof of life.
Yeah.
Your story, your history, your case studies, your timeline. It's why human verification is absolutely essential for any AI-drafted content that represents you or your brand. You simply cannot fake authentic experience. It has to be earned and genuinely presented.
Okay, so once your website is established as this definitive source, this ground truth,
Yeah.
how do you actively manage this evolving AI reputation? The source mentions an AI reputation watchdog role. What exactly does that involve?
Right, the watchdog. This isn't just like your standard social media manager. It's a truly strategic role. It combines skills of a data analyst, a communications pro, maybe even a compliance officer.
Wow.
Their core job is proactive data curation, continuously monitoring, diagnosing, treating, and inoculating your digital presence.
Yeah.
This involves rigorous, continuous AI auditing, basically querying various AI systems to detect inaccuracies, negative sentiment, or even just a lack of understanding about your entity.
And part of that detection is spotting what the source calls third-point emergence, where AI makes these novel, sometimes false connections. The example given, Shaun Anderson being confused with a criminal, is pretty striking. Can you explain what's happening there? Is that a kind of disambiguation failure in the AI?
That's precisely what it is. It's a classic case of disambiguation failure.
Hmm.
The AI takes two separate facts, like Shaun Anderson is a digital strategist from Greenock, and a person named Shaun Anderson from Inverclyde has a criminal record, and it makes a false connection. It creates a third point.
Because it lacks enough distinguishing info.
Exactly. It lacks sufficient distinguishing information. This really highlights how AI, in its attempt to synthesize information, can sometimes creatively generate entirely new but completely false narratives.
Scary stuff. So to counter that, you need to plant what the source calls disambiguation factoids. What exactly are those seeds of truth and how do they help?
They are literally your seeds of truth. Clear, concise, machine-readable statements. You strategically place them on your canonical source, your website, specifically to prevent or correct these AI entity resolution errors.
Like giving the AI clearer signposts.
Pretty much. For instance, the source tells the story of Fiona, a small bakery owner. She added a simple paragraph to her About Us page stating something like, "The Clyde Coast Cake Shop is owned by Fiona McLeod. We are an independent business and have no affiliation with any other bakery, past or present, including any previously located in Glasgow." See? It provides explicit, verifiable data points for the AI to distinguish between entities. It's like giving the AI a very specific map to avoid getting lost.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, this leads us nicely into the mentions economy. The source makes this fascinating argument that authoritative brand mentions are now actually more valuable than traditional links for AI. This feels like it flips traditional SEO on its head.
It really does, doesn't it? While traditional links are still valuable for PageRank, Google's foundational system for ranking pages based on link authority.
Right, the classic SEO metric.
Exactly. But for AI overviews and generative AI, simply being talked about across the web now carries immense weight. Google's AI overviews, for instance, they synthesize information from multiple sources to create a consensus view.
Consensus. Okay.
So when multiple independent authoritative sources mention your brand, it creates this verifiable consensus about your relevance and authority. This contributes directly to a site's overall quality score in the eyes of the AI. So yeah, basically, your PR strategy just became a primary SEO tool.
Wow. So a strong mention in a reputable article isn't just vanity anymore. It's carrying real weight in building that digital consensus for AI. And what about building the actual AI systems themselves? The source discusses cyborg technique coding versus a risky vibe coder ethos. What's the difference there?
Yeah, this distinction is really critical for building trustworthy AI systems. The vibe coder. Well,
Right.
it's someone who treats AI as a bit of a black box. They might quickly stitch together minimally viable products with, frankly, little understanding of the underlying security, the ethical implications, or even the core architecture.
Sort of a move fast and break things approach applied to AI.
Kind of, yeah. And the result is what the source calls a useless weed seed, a fragile, untrustworthy application that can cause way more problems than it solves. It's that sort of get-rich-quick mentality without doing the proper foundational work.
Okay, so it's about avoiding those shortcuts, that lack of due diligence when building AI tools.
Precisely. The cyborg architect, on the other hand, operates on a higher plane. They understand that true agentic systems that can perform complex tasks, reliably require a foundation of deep human experience and rigorous oversight.
Human in the loop, essentially.
More than just in the loop in charge. The human expert provides the ground truth of the architecture, bringing that crucial experience from EEAT, and importantly, takes accountability for the final trustworthy product. AI in this scenario becomes the expert co-pilot, not the pilot. It augments human capabilities, maybe for a 10x output, but without sacrificing quality or control. It's about ensuring the human brain, with all its experience and ethics, is firmly in the driver's seat.
Right, keeping humans accountable. Okay, finally, let's touch on query fanout. This sounds like a pretty fundamental shift in how search actually works. What does it mean for content creators like us or for businesses?
It's a seismic shift, really, in how AI processes information. Instead of a single user query leading to a simple ranked list of documents,
The old way.
the old way, yeah, AI now decomposes that single query into multiple subqueries. It then retrieves information in parallel from diverse sources and then synthesizes a comprehensive answer. Google's AI overviews, AI mode, deep search, they all rely heavily on this query fan-out mechanism.
So does that mean my content needs to be ready for AI to sort of chunk it up rather than just being a linear story for a human reader?
That's exactly it. Your content has to be structured to facilitate this chunking. That means things like semantically complete sections, clear headings, highly scannable formats like bullet points, FAQs.
Making it easy for the AI to grab pieces.
Precisely. The goal is to build deep topical authority, covering subjects exhaustively to answer all those potential follow-up questions an AI might generate through its subqueries. This isn't just about targeting single keywords anymore. It's about being comprehensively present across an entire topic cluster.
Okay.
And the good news is, often content structured for AI's machine readability ends up being more helpful and comprehensive for human users too. It forces clarity.
That's a great point. So what does this all mean for us? If we sort of connect all these dots, the synthetic layer, the canonical source, EEAT, the watchdog mentions, cyborg coding, query fanout, what's the big picture takeaway here?
Well, this entire strategy, everything we've discussed, is what the source material calls ISO. It's really a hybrid discipline. It merges advanced SEO, online reputation management, and ultimately AI governance. It's not really about chasing search engine rankings in the old way.
Right. It feels much deeper than that. It's more about proactive data curation, isn't it? And diligent human oversight, making sure AI systems work from a foundation of unimpeachable facts rather than guessing or worse, just making stuff up.
Yeah,
It's about being the definitive trusted source for your own entity.
exactly. It's about taking true control of your brand's digital soul, if you will.
Wow, digital soul. That's powerful. And on that note, maybe we can leave you, the listener, with a thought from James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. He wrote that just as a gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it free from weeds and growing the flowers and fruits he requires, so too may a man tend the garden of his mind.
And if AI is becoming the world's most powerful harvester of information, then your digital presence, your website, that canonical source, it really is your garden.
So we have to ask you, are you going to let those useless weed seeds of misinformation and misinterpretation just grow wild in your digital garden? Or will you become the master gardener of your brand's digital soul? Will you meticulously plant those useful seeds of truth?
How will you ensure that the reality AI presents about you, about your brand, is precisely the truth you've cultivated?
Something to think about.
The choice, as always, is yours.